Want to talk about the Team Clark comment and all that?
Oh, I made a bad joke.
Yeah.
I made a really bad joke.
A really badly timed joke in poor taste.
Remember, Team Clark didn't bother to show up. Oh, well, now Kelsey Plum's trying to backtrack on that. She's trying to walk it back, trying to move.
What happens when a veteran player's lighthearted joke becomes a nightmare that defines their career? The WNBA world erupted 2 minutes ago when Caitlin Clark finally addressed Kelsey Plum's terrible all-star remarks. It wasn't pretty, let me tell you. The rookie sensation, who has been sweeping the league, just responded in such a devastating way that Plum is now frantically trying to salvage her name. This is the tale of how one ill-timed joke turned into the largest public relations catastrophe in recent WNBA history, and why it's possible that Kelsey Plum just ended her own legacy. Let's go back to the beginning of this catastrophe. Imagine this. The largest event in the league is the WNBA All-Star Weekend. A moment that ought to have been nothing short of basketball greatness. Rather,
Our game, and you were trying to just make a joke. And it just got twisted.
And I should have, like, hindsight 2020, because of the shirts, because of the fans, like, I should have known it was a way more serious moment than a typical All-Star game.
Yeah.
Because I went into that press conference very, like...
with cameras rolling and the entire basketball world watching, Kelsey Plum made the decision to transform a press conference into her own comedy hour. She made what she believed to be a witty remark about Team Clark. With an arrogant little sneer, she added, "Not to tattletale." However, none of the Clark team members attended that meeting. It was astounding how bold they were. This athlete ought to be thanking Caitlin Clark for bringing the league previously unheard-of levels of attention and income. Rather, she made the decision to publicly humiliate the individuals who are in charge of her higher salaries. This is where things get really crazy, though. This wasn't just a casual comment. This was deliberate disparaging remarks made during what was meant to be a celebration of women.
Not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
If she had tried, the timing for basketball could not have been worse. Due in large part to Clark's record-breaking rookie season, the league was experiencing its greatest surge of popularity. Plum thought that this was the ideal time to air dirty laundry regarding meeting attendance. The remark itself was unsettling enough, but it was even more hard to watch because of the way she delivered it, as if she were making some shocking revelation. You would think that a professional athlete with years of experience in the media would be able to identify when they had over the line and perhaps, just possibly, offer a brief apology and move on. Not Kelsey Plum, though. Rather, she chose to go all out with what can only be called the most tone-deaf explanation to...
just like making a joke, trying to make the room lighter.
Because they were hungover. That was the joke, yes?
Yeah, even though they called... Yeah, sorry. I was making a joke that they were hungover, even though our team nickname was hungover.
Yes.
Yes. So it's like, at least we made it.
I stand by this. Kelsey Plum needs to stop trying to be... Remember the popcorn thing?
Clark, Kelsey Plum in the building. Enjoying the popcorn, apparently. The 2017 wouldn't...
I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think a lot of what Kelsey Plum thinks is going to be...
In the history of sports, she claimed on the podcast circuit that her remarks were merely harmless jokes that were exaggerated. She clarified, "I was making a joke that they were hungover, as if openly criticizing your colleagues' professionalism is top comedic material." She attempted to portray herself as a misinterpreted comedian whose clever comedy simply didn't resonate with the general public. As she tried to reinterpret the story, it was clear that she was desperate. She described how she was never able to adequately explain what she meant, totally overlooking the possibility that there might not be a magical backdrop that would make her.
WNBA players speak to the media and not know what to say. How many times have we seen players crash out on social media? How many times? But these are professional athletes, the leader of women, the leader of kids, people that somebody look up to. And these women always, forever and a day, crashes out on the damn internet.
And it was a serious moment because I think part of it, too, was people turned into the All-Star game, fired up, wanted to see what was going on with the All-Star game, whatever. And then next thing you know, all the players come out wearing these T-shirts, and it sort of sucked the air out of the All-Star game's room. Or the room out of, whatever, the air out of the room that the All-Star game was played in.
Remarks sound less petty. Almost as hilarious as the original comment itself was the fictitious perplexity over why people responded badly. It's similar to witnessing someone make a joke at a funeral and then pretending to be startled that no one is laughing. However, the timing is the most annoying aspect of the entire story. This scandal broke out in the midst of Caitlin Clark's incredible season, during which she broke numerous records and attracted new fans to women's basketball. We had a veteran who was more concerned with who showed up to what meeting, whereas Clark was busy improving the entire sport and generating possibilities for everyone, including Plum. There has never been a clearer contrast between someone bringing about constructive change and someone causing needless controversy. And let's discuss it.
Trying to tell a joke, like, people can run with it. And there's like another aspect when it's like you never even get a chance to explain it. It's like what are you going to do?
So right here, a lot of people responded, a bad joke. Kelsey Dumb's the reason every player in the WNBA needs PR training. Plum is not very bright. I mean, come on. Kelsey deserves all the negative remarks and comments she got. A person can't try to explain it or say sorry after the fact because it only looks like you got caught and you want to seem like you're sorry. Yeah, you wouldn't have been sorry if you hadn't got caught. I get it. I'll say it once again, the WNBA sucks at PR. Laughing my ass off, this is all damage control, and she still manages to come off.
An attitude issue that has been developing for some months. Former Kelsey Plum fans began to see a pattern. She would constantly be sarcastic, roll her eyes during interviews, and act as though her obligations to the media were beneath her. One irate fan said, "You're a WNBA player. You're not out here curing cancer." It was getting harder to ignore the entitlement. This person ought to be appreciative of her platform and opportunity. Rather, she views every conversation as a waste of her valuable time. This is an utterly mind-blowing strategic error. Plum believed that going on a media tour would be the greatest way to explain why everyone else was wrong to respond the way they did, rather than accepting the loss and moving on like a professional. A straightforward, "My bad, terrible time," would have been far more successful than this complex.
And I think, if anything, I was just more discouraged because I felt like it took away from the moment of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you don't even get to respond. And if you do, you seem defensive. That's why I didn't even say anything. I was like, all right.
No, so that's the thing. You seem defensive.
Explanation of misinterpreted comedy. Sometimes the crime is not as bad as the cover-up. And this is undoubtedly one of those circumstances. The fact that this embodies everything that prevented the WNBA from progressing for years before women like Caitlin Clark emerged and demonstrated the league's potential makes it much more agonizing to see. While Clark concentrated on basketball and raising awareness of women's sports, we had veterans with outdated perspectives who are more concerned with upholding hierarchies and denouncing perceived injustices than they were with appreciating the amazing progress taking place in front of them. There is an obvious generational gap. Plum and other senior players appear to be genuinely troubled by the success and attention that younger players are bringing to the game. Even if everyone gains from that success, it really boosts my day's vitality. However, it's complaining about meeting attendance requirements while concurrently cashing checks made possible by the star status she's criticizing, rather than walking uphill both ways to school. Here's the worst part. The Las Vegas Aces, where Kelsey Plum plays, should theoretically
look awfully unlikable. And I actually thought she was like one of my more favorite, interesting players for a long time. And some of the ways I've seen her talk and profess things and some of the things that she said, she lost me. I was like, her attitude sucks. There. I said it out loud. Constantly sarcastic and acting like people are taking up her time. Okay, you're
title candidates, but has been appearing more and more unimpressive as teams with younger players continue to create more buzz. Perhaps the focus should be on figuring out why senior teams continue to do poorly while the young guns are making records and packing arenas, rather than obsessing about who attends meetings. Plum's constant emphasis on how everyone was together and wearing the same shirts while deliberately ignoring the reality that she was the one who chose to disrupt that unity by calling out particular players is the most revealing aspect of the entire event. You can't pretend shocked when others point out the inconsistency, while simultaneously claiming to be in favor of team togetherness and causing division. However, everything changed 2 minutes ago. Caitlin Clark finally addressed the matter after months of remaining silent and letting her basketball speak for itself. Additionally, people pay attention to what Clark has to say. Her controlled but scathing retort highlighted the absurdity of veterans whining about professionalism, yet causing needless drama during the league's most important times. She didn't have to disrespect people or raise her voice. She just presented the facts, and they struck like a freight train. The response from the basketball community was swift and vicious. Support for Clark and condemnation of Plum's overall strategy erupted on social media. For this reason, this league needs new leadership. Kelsey Plum embodies everything wrong with the old WNBA culture, one commenter said. Public opinion, which was already shifting against Plum, turned into a tsunami. Kelsey Plum is currently scrambling to contain the damage. However, it may be too late. There isn't much leeway left when you double down on bad choices for months before being publicly chastised by the biggest talent in the league.